It helps like solve problems and raise money.
It feels really good to know that you're helping people.
Like I could do so much more than I thought, and I could like take on so much more things.
I think it's important because you can like learn about different like things that are happening around the world. You can learn that you can actually help these things.
One of the reasons the school jumped on board was it was an easy way to teach children that giving sometimes is better than receiving.
It started with a student representative council about 7 years ago, and when I came in we were running it at lunchtimes and students were voted, a couple of students in each class, they were elected, and they'd bumble in about 10 minutes into break time and we'd rush around and not really have much time to do much. And I noticed there were other students who were really wanting to make a difference in the school. And I started having a chat with them about what is it you want to do, who wants to be involved, and we started working out that really we wanted to go beyond simply electing people. They were finding it was a popularity contest. They wanted other children wanted to be involved. So we decided to change it the following year and we opened it up. So any student who wanted to do something, they could come in to the break time and they could work on any project at all. And it just rolled into something more and more people.
Because it is a very community-based club, we're never going to say no to anyone who's wanting to join. So it's pretty much welcome to all. They can come along for a meeting. Sometimes we'll do things out in the playground. But yeah, welcome for everybody in the school, which is awesome.
There's always kids that want to make a difference, whether they're 5 years old or 12-year-olds here at primary school. So having the opportunity to make a difference and come to school and not only learn but do what they want to do by making the change in the world that they see every day as being an issue, that's really empowering. It's really inspiring for a person like me who also loves to do things like that. And seeing just the growth. Some of these kids have been doing this since kindergarten.
The kids really enjoy EarlyAct. It's somewhere they're allowed to just come and feel like there's something that they're good at. They really enjoy coming. A lot of them really enjoy putting on the badge. They're really proud of being an EarlyAct member. It's really good for our leadership students too, Year 5. A lot of them see this as an opportunity to hone in their leadership skills as well and start building those things. It's something that us teachers notice, that they're putting their hand up and having a go and getting involved in the community, which is good.
At a very recent International Baccalaureate conference that I went to in Adelaide, we heard a lot about children being anxious, primary school children and high school children being anxious about the future of this planet and having anxiety about it at a very young age. And wherever you're contributing, you feel good. And you may know from talking to these kids this morning, they're feeling very good about what they're doing. So they're not feeling that anxiety, but they're contributing to make the world a better place.
Like a lot of the time, well, I think before EarlyAct, I kind of thought that I couldn't really help. Like, I'm just that kid from that school down there, you know? But like this really shows me that you actually can help these things if you want to.
Just seeing the end result come together is so amazing, and like working towards it is also fun.
So if we hear about an idea, then we invest in it, research it, and then try and help.
I think the kids are really proud to be a part of it. It's something that they look forward to each week. One of our lovely Stage 2 members, one of the younger ones, came up to me. She's like, I really love being in EarlyAct. It's so much fun. I do think they enjoy just having a badge sometimes, but that's all just part of the fun. And I think it's nice for them to come together in a little bit of a community, find somewhere where they feel like this is something that I'm good at.
The EarlyAct Club meets every Wednesday. They have an official meeting on one Wednesday, and the following Wednesday they usually do whatever projects.
Well, we just had a meeting and now we're working on posters, and we're working out, like for our ice cream day, how much the ice cream would cost and how much profit we would get. So we're thinking in week 1, term 3, we're going to do like a welcome back ice cream day, and I think we're getting about 220 ice cream things for the ice creams, and they're going to be about $2 each. I think we estimated, like, if we sell all of them, about $365. It's going towards our international project, which is birthing kits. It's for people who are not as fortunate to help them have like babies and stuff.
Today we have a whole bunch of things going on. So we have some kids working in our finance team. So they are working out costs, how much we're going to charge, how much ice cream we need. Our two secretaries are working on communication, so working out a date with our principal on when we can hold the ice cream day and making sure that that's all allowed to go ahead. And then the rest of our students are on our marketing team, so they are making posters to advertise around the school, get the word out why we're raising money, what's it for, what they'll be able to get on the day, how much it costs and things like that.
Last year they were involved in Shelter Box, which they raised $1,600 over the whole year, which I thought was an amazing effort for a tiny little school. They only had 15 members, so it's a pretty gutsy little effort that they put in, and they did it from raising money at school. They also came down and joined Rotary at our markets, and they set up Shelter Box so people knew what that they were talking about, and people donated just money to them to help them along the way.
One of my friend's sisters, she's deaf, so she has hearing aids, and so my friend just came up with the fact to raise money for kids in need who can't pay for them.
Because they're expensive, aren't they, hearing aids? It costs thousands of dollars. Well, that's such a good activity. And how are you going to raise that money?
We're thinking of making little markets, and people can buy tickets to play games or do activities.
I remember when the bushfires were happening, I understood that there was, like, the bushfires were bad, but I didn't realise, like, how bad they actually were. Like, I found them out when I was kind of trying to find out something to help, because I thought about the bushfires and I researched a bit about them and found out that they were bad. Like, I found out how bad they were and different, like, things that had been hurt, so I wanted to help out animals and different places that might have been affected by bushfires or something else.
So there's the Story Dogs one, which we've done, which is for children in like year 2 who've had trouble sort of focusing on reading. We've done the epilepsy, so we did a dodgeball game for that.
More often than not, they have their own experiences, their own people they know who are experiencing things that they want to support, and so our role is really to support them with that, help them with their research, help them with their communication with organisations. If they want to run an event, help them work out how that's going to work, and do all the publicity side of things as well. So just making sure that teachers have access to that, because what happens when we run a big action week and we have something running every day, we want to make sure that the research and that it's not just about raising money, it's about raising awareness. So we want to make sure that there are resources in the classroom for students across the school to understand why we're doing it. So the EarlyAct kids, they'll prepare a presentation, there might be a little video in there, and it will explain why they're supporting those causes, and the teachers then each day, the day before the event, they'll go through that slideshow and give the kids a chance to find out a little bit more about why we're doing it.
So the structure of the club at the moment, now that we've become part of the Rotary Club, having the EarlyAct committee means that we can have a more formalised system rather than just kids coming and going and joining in and not really having a format for how to run it. We now have the meeting structure where we have the committee members with their roles and they each have a specific job to do.
The meeting will now come to order. The Vice President will lead us in our acknowledgement of country, Rotary's 4-way test and an inspirational quote.
We pay our respects to the
Ngunnawal people. Thank you for sharing your knowledge of the land where we meet today. We respect this land, animals, plants and people too. We respect the land, we respect the sky, we respect each other.
Is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned?
Is it fair to all concerned?
Will it build goodwill and better relationships?
Will it build goodwill and better relationships?
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you, Lily. We will now hear from the corresponding secretary's report.
Our story dog. My name's Charlie.
So through the meetings we run and have lots of input from everyone, meaning that we can touch base on what's happened and what we want to happen, as well as allowing the children to have agency. It's all up to them. We don't really, as teachers, do much besides guide them, facilitate, organise. We just let them come to us with ideas, and they do the research, they do the initial planning, and then we sort of help them to get it off the ground if they need it. And that's where we're hoping Rotary will also come into play by having Rotarians come in on our meeting days and joining in and being experts in the field and being able to provide us with more reach, I guess, from just our little ideas that we have, and maybe go and make more connections with things that Rotary already has in place, like Book Belong Pickaninny.
So Book Belong Pickaninny is an organisation that sends books and stationery to kids that don't have that kind of stuff at their schools in Papua New Guinea. I heard about it through one of my friends because her mum was helping box everything up for the organisation to send it to Book Belong Pickaninny, and she thought, why don't we do it together? So we did that together, and we've been doing it since year 2, and we're still doing it now.
So we've had some ideas about our next big action week, and everybody's sort of talking about it in our own groups. People come and help other groups, but there's mostly a list of people in each group.
And what's your responsibility as the president of the club?
To sort of represent all the groups and help everybody.
To run the meeting, to make sure everyone's happy with it and feels included.
I actually was really shy, so when I was helping people it kind of made me more confident with myself as well.
EarlyAct gave her the platform to make a change in a safe space and feel like she could achieve, even though that wasn't one of her strengths, being a leader or as confident as a lot of other children, but because of her passion for making change, she was able to really take it on board and inspire everyone else in the EarlyAct Club and probably the whole school.
I don't want to come in and run their meetings, but they need to know how to run their meetings. So the guidance that you give them in how to run their meetings, how to choose good projects to be involved in and not to set them up to fail.
In the IB, what we do is bring hearts and minds together to make a difference in the world. And Rotary does that too. Rotary is really about making that contribution locally, nationally and internationally. And so we're doing the same things. And that's really why I joined Rotary, because I thought, this is my passion, this is my belief, so why aren't I doing it myself, in my life? And so it was very easy to bring in a partnership between Rotary when they wanted an EarlyAct Club and our school. In Rotary, I think Rotary is very well grounded, it's very well founded, it's very well networked, it has a great history of working internationally, and for that reason the school could have access to Rotary's networks and resources.
People need to see Rotary in action within their community, and I think by children being involved, you're getting parents understanding a little bit more about Rotary and being part of that family.
When the rest of the school sees EarlyAct and the jobs that they do and they get involved in our big action weeks, what we call our big action weeks that include all the different events for fundraising, raising awareness, it's not just the EarlyAct kids that are doing that. It may be one child that comes up with the idea, but in a whole school community, it could be every single child that then takes action to be involved. So that's really powerful, and a lot of families really value that. They they wait for it to come every term, and we have the whole week, and the events get posted home, and they choose what they want to get involved with and talk to the kids, and the classes have discussions, and that then inspires other kids, or they make a connection. If it's about cancer awareness, they'll know a family member or someone who's going through that, so it becomes personal. So it's a domino effect. One child can make one difference, which then impacts everyone else.
And the parents really love hearing it about in the newsletter, and they will come in and support any projects that they can, and they do. So they're very proud of what their children are doing, and they know that it's making a difference, and they encourage it at home.
I think we've got a format here that works. And I think there are plenty of other schools out there who are looking for something similar. They've either got a student representative council or they've got a parliament. And I've experienced that in myself in other schools. And sometimes they're just looking for something that maybe works. And having access to that Rotary network too just gives us that opportunity to have contact with other organisations.
I feel like these clubs are important, and if there are more of them, then you can make a real big difference.
If you're interested in making a difference, then I encourage you to make an EarlyAct team at your school.
For us, it's replaced our SRC. So our SRC was more student-based and school-based, whereas EarlyAct really has allowed us to get out not only in our local community, but reaching out into international communities as well. I'm learning along with the kids as they're learning, which is good. But it's nice to just kind of have free rein with it and see get the kids' input. What do they want to work towards? How are they wanting to raise funds for things? How are they wanting to get involved in their community?
Are we going to allow people to purchase more than one scoop of ice cream?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, maybe let's wait until everyone's had one, and then we can...
That's our job as a teacher, to prepare children for society. And if we can prepare students to be good citizens, then we're being successful.
I don't know what these children will do as they get older, but I do know that they'll have this commitment for their whole lives, because they know that it works, and they know that you feel good when you contribute. And I don't know whether Sam said it before or not, but he said, you know, we're just kids and we're just doing a little bit, but every little bit we do makes a difference, and that's what we're doing.
People underestimate kids. A 5-year-old can make a difference. In kindergarten a couple of years ago, we had children who wanted to help the legless, earless dragling, it was a little creature that was going extinct here in Canberra. So they researched and they knew what they wanted. It took them a couple of years to do it, but they did a fundraiser, and we donated the money to help save this tiny little legless dragon, I think it was called. But they're 5. They are now part of this committee here behind me, and they are now making bigger change, looking at mental health, looking at other animals, looking at things in the school that they can make change with. So it's amazing to think that a small group of children will take this on board and continue with it and be amazing humans forever because of, I guess, the opportunities that they're allowed to have here and the growth and leadership that they can take in making a change.
I just think that we're on the right track and I'm very proud of the education that we're delivering to these children, and the way that the children respond to it is the way that you know that it works, and they are making a difference in the world, and they're amazing.